Good morning.
Morning, everybody. Or I don't know where you are. Could be afternoon or evening.
Thank you for joining us for this SDIG Virtual Dialogue Conference on Bridging Equity Through Coding. SDIG is a global nonprofit organization committed to equity and social justice for all. We are empowered by professionals who are operating on the frontier of diversity and equity. The SDIG experts are professionals with the ability and experience to help clients address all their diversity and equity needs. We are truly grateful that you have chosen to spend the day with us, a day dedicated to learning, collaborative, and imagining what becomes possible when equity and innovation come together. Today brings together practitioners, technologists, educators, and community leaders who share a common understanding. The challenges facing our communities are complex, interconnected, and deeply human. They cannot be solved in isolation. They require approaches that cross traditional boundaries, honor lived experiences, and leverage the power of collective wisdom. Throughout this conference, you will encounter ideas that stretch your thinking, tools that expand your practice, and stories that remind us why this work matters. You will hear from voices that are building pathways to opportunities, designing systems that include rather than exclude, and using coding not simply as a technical tool, but as a catalyst for justice and transformation. Our hope is that today sparks new connections, strengthens existing partnerships, and equips you with insights you can carry back to your classrooms, organizations, and communities. Equity is not a destination we reach once. It is a commitment we renew again and again. And coding as a language, a discipline, and a creative force offers powerful ways to help build a more just and equitable future. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the work you do, and thank you for believing as we do that we can bring equity through coding. We expand what is possible for every learner and every opportunity. Let us begin this day with curiosity, courage, and shared sense of purpose. Thank you. I am going to introduce Dr. Karen Walker, who has been with SDIG for a long time, behavioral scientist who has delved into many of the things that we deal with here and has been a source of inspiration for all of us. Dr. Karen, over to you.
No, thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me to be able to open on this great event. So SDIG and I have been partnered for quite some time now, and I really just appreciate the work that SDIG and its members do globally, and the ability to bring everybody together and learn from each other new topics. You might be wondering why a psychologist and retired Marine is the keynote on a coding workshop, but I do want to share some insights on that as well. Let me see if I can pull up.
Yep.
We're going to be helping some startups today, or helping kind of empower whoever's willing to go through this journey with us on the digital future. So in 2022, they actually deemed industrial organizational psychology as a STEM science. That makes me all that more excited to be presenting today and talking to you, just introducing some of the workshops we're going to get involved in. Because you might think, well, how does psychology have to do with STEM? And really, it's about human behavior. So IO psychologists study human behavior at work, and the workplace is constantly changing. So I have just a couple graphics on here, but I'm sure you're all familiar kind of with AI and the direction that it's going, and the capabilities that it can do. You have kind of your chat features, you have your in-home technologies that some of us may or may not have, and you have World Wide Web resources as well. But behind all of this AI and technology are still humans, and that's why it's so important that we continue our efforts with SDIG, so Systemic Diversity and Inclusion Group, because we want to make sure we have access to these jobs, these new jobs that are created from technology, and that it's well diversified and represented with the global diversity efforts that we have. So let's talk a little bit more about psychology and critical thinking. Critical thinking is something that we're starting to see humans not do as much because computers are doing so much of it. As we move forward in AI, we do want to consider being a collaborative partner with our robots, in a sense. So let's talk a little bit about psychology in the sense of, does anyone know who this might be? It's okay if you don't. I'm the psychology nerd. So this is Freud. He's deemed sometimes as the father of psychology. Yep, and he, in terms of human behavior, he kind of brought to us the psychosis and psychoanalyzing people. He believed that much of who we are is built off of, from how we were raised or brought up, whether or not you were breastfed or bottle fed, how long you took to potty train. Several elements like that are subconscious, Freud believed formed and shaped the human to be who they are. That's one school of thought. So as we're going through this, I do want you to think about this critical thinking that the human mind can do, that we can do as humans, and we play a big part in what our computers are going to be doing as well. Another school of thought was a psychologist by the name of B.F. Skinner, and he believed that all of our human behaviors are trainable. One thing he talked about a lot was called classic conditioning. You may or may not know about this common experiment that's taught about a lot that he did with dogs and a bell. So he would show the food to the dog. He would ring a bell every time he did this, and then the dog would, salivate and want to eat. He did this routinely, conditioning the response of salivating and being ready to eat to the bell. So essentially he could ring the bell anytime and the dog now thinks it's time to eat, triggering these responses within the human. So these are important technological advances, I'd say, in psychology that also help us understand how we train ourselves today with alarm clocks or agendas, routines. Another psychologist came about a little bit later when we started to have more of what they call positive psychology approach. And this was Maslow. And you may recognize this triangle. It was Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And his approach or school of thought on psychology and the human mind was that as long as our basic needs are met, we can kind of move in this positive direction towards self-actualization. So in terms of, are we safe? Do you have food? Do you have shelter? Do you have clothing? If those basic needs are met, you kind of move up in this hierarchy, looking at your relationships, right? Do you have good, healthy, strong relationships? That builds into your self-esteem, who you are, who you believe yourself to be. And then self-actualization is that, empowerment to have that self-development or professional development to keep going in life and striving for more, kind of a motivational school of thought there. All of those concepts kind of go into a positive psychology direction, which was, I wanted to touch on Johari's window a little bit. But in terms of positive psychology, it merged a lot of these concepts together. In Johari's window, these psychologists found a way to kind of look at your subconscious feelings and thoughts and also compare it to how other people see you. And this gives you kind of that self-awareness picture. So if you haven't heard of Johari's window before or you haven't done the Johari's window exercise, I recommend it. It's a lot of fun. You get to see potentially a window inside of yourself and how other people see you. And it's just an interesting perspective. But one thing about Johari's window is it was based based off of positive psychology. So it really tuned out a lot of negative things in psychology that you would say, people's issues that they may need to work on. And so again, I bring that up for critical thinking, right? We can't just wave a wand and make everything perfect. And the human mind, does have faults to it as well. So in terms of critical thinking, we can't it's whatever we put into it is necessarily what we're going to get out of it in a lot of these AI models. So that's another reason why we need to have as many people as possible get trained in working with these AI models and just continuing to help improve the science. Some of these psychologists down here I put because we do know we can measure human behavior, and these psychologists started out believing that Alport believed that there was 4,000 traits that humans could do, essentially. So he narrowed it down to these 4,000 things that people do, and you can tell everything about a person if they do one of these 4,000 things. Quite robust to carry that kind of handbook around. Science has advanced. You had Cattell, he came up with 16 personality factors, and he said, if people fall into these 16 different factors, we can tell a lot about them and predict future behavior off of those 16 factors. What the most recognized approach we have now is from Goldberg, and he coined the Big Five, which spell out the word ocean. That's an easy way to remember it. So OCEAN. And he said that psychology and personality basically bundles down to these 5 areas. So the O is openness, the C, conscientiousness, the E is extroversion, A, acceptance, and N being narcissist. So he said everybody's kind of on the scale of these 5 factors, and so you could be either high narcissist or low narcissist, but you can still measure basically your level of narcissism. So using the Big Five, you can measure personality and you can measure behavior in humans. So I say all of that because, why does this matter to you? Why does this matter in this workshop? Because the more that you're able to know about yourself, the more it helps you to be able to manage that in the work that you do. What we do know in psychology is that past behaviors are the best predictors of future performance. So if you're constantly working on yourself, then you're constantly, building this future as well. We know that human behavior is measurable and that you can develop it. So if you are, low in conscientiousness, which is like your hardworking elements, and what I think they call kind of type A if you're super high in conscientiousness. But, those areas you can develop in yourself. So it's important to know and understand that as we're building computer programs to do these types of things for us. So I'd like to take a few moments, and if you do have paper and pen with you, that would be best. But you can also use your technology, whatever technology you have, to kind of take notes on this element. If you have a piece of paper, I'd like you to draw the lines that I have on the screen on your paper, just to give you kind of these 4 separate boxes. So I'll give you a moment. If you have a piece of paper, go ahead and sketch this out. If you don't have a paper, that's completely fine. You can take some notes, on your phone or on a, notepad, a digital notepad, whatever it might be. So we'll start in the top left-hand corner first, and there you want to, I put kind of some guides here what we're going to go through. But in this top left-hand corner, I want you to write skills, and I want you to write 3 to 5 skills that you are good at. Right? So if you're an engineer, maybe it's, something in that field. Whatever it is you might think you're good at. I mean, I'd say at least let's get 3 in here, but 5 would be great. So 3 to 5 things that you're really good at. It could be really anything in here. So you should know yourself and what you do. So I'll give you a couple minutes to think on that. So it could be anything too, like maybe time management. I mean, don't think like it has to be these hard skills like, I don't know, archery or something. Just whatever you are kind of your strengths, your skill sets that help you to do well in your day-to-day. Okay, so hopefully you have at least three, with 3 to 5 of those skills. And we'll move over to the top right box if you're using a paper. If you're not, I just want you to put the title of the category. So on the right-hand side, you're going to put people. And in this top box, what I want you to do is think of 3 to 5 people that know you are good at these skills. Okay. So who knows, that you're great at time management, or you're great at, whatever skill sets you wrote here. Let's go ahead and put 3 to 5 people in your life who know that you can do these things well. Give you a minute to think on that. And if it's your mom and your sister and your brother, that's fine. Just go ahead and put that down. 3 to 5 people. Okay. Hopefully you have at least 3 and up to 5 people that know about these skills in you. Okay, so we're going to move to these bottom boxes now. On this bottom box, bottom left, or if you're taking notes on digitally, you'll just put a header on here. I want you to list 3 to 5 passions in your life. So these passions are more like if you didn't have to work another day in your life, and tomorrow's your first day of this new life where you don't have to work, what are those 3 to 5 things you want to do, right? I mean, maybe it's photography, maybe it's traveling, maybe it's fitness, but what are your passions kind of that don't drive your paycheck, in other words? And maybe it does as a hobby, but what are really your passions that really, really drive you? And go ahead and you want to put at least 3 and up to 5 here in this box. Okay, so again, these are your passions if you didn't have to work, or maybe on the weekends. What is it that really, really drives you? Where is your passion? Okay, so in this, let's move to this bottom right box. So again, if you're taking notes, just put a header on top. So this box will be people again, but it's what people know that these are your passions. So 3 to 5 people that actually know you're passionate about photography, or you're passionate about cooking, whatever it might be. So 3 to 5 people that link to these passions here. So I'll give you about a minute to think about that. Okay. So you should have everything filled out now if you were writing it on the paper. If you're doing your notes, you should have 4 kind of sections where you've written your notes down. What I want you to do is just visually now, looking only at your people side, I want you to circle any names that are on both lists. So any repeat people that made your list, you want to circle those names. Okay. So since we did 3 to 5, I have any brave souls to let me know how many circles you have? I guess you can put it in chat. How many repeat names did you have? Anybody willing to share? And again, I'm not seeing the chat, so just let me know. If you could come off mute as well if you'd like. No brave souls? Okay, so a way to figure this out on your own is if all of these are the same, perhaps, okay? Or if you have no repeats, it's important to know this about yourself. The reason why it's important to look at what people know about you is because if these are truly your passions, how do you expect to gain awareness about your passions, right? These people are called your network. And if they're all the same, that means that you only have access to what these people also have access to. And that's what I really love about all these workshops we do with SDIG, because we get to network with so many different people and environments. So if you are perhaps, really passionate about website building, and that's not your job or your skill set, and, you need to meet more people in that area. So essentially, you don't want to have all the same people circled that know all your skill sets and they know all your passions, because you can't make essentially new connections in that way. If you have different people on both lists, that's also an issue because it means that you really separate your world. And, that can be a challenge for us as well. When we're trying to collaborate, you might not know, there's just things you need to know that you don't know, and you don't have the connections to ask those people as well. So hopefully this exercise was at least helpful or eye-opening to you to see like, oh, maybe I do need to talk about my passion more with more people so that I can actually start exploring those options. Or maybe I need to let more people in my life know that I'm good at these skills, and they'll include me in events that would be interesting to me or to learn more.
Yep.
Yeah. So the big key here, as we're talking today, is don't be afraid to ask curious questions. Curious questions really open up the ability for you to know more about yourself, and also I put to know your people. But to know the people you work with, to know the people you live with, the people that you're friends with in this global nation, right? I mean, in order to learn more about yourself, you've got to be willing to ask curious questions, and that kind of goes to opening up that window of opportunity for you as well. I really hope that was helpful. It's a little hard to do sometimes, when you're not in person, and maybe if you don't have paper or pens and things like that. But it's a good exercise. You can even try it, later if you weren't able to do it with us today. It's a good thing to go ahead and try. I think the main thing that I wanted to express is that in terms of STEM, human behavior is important in the work that you do. And as we move forward and we're training computers to do the work that we do, we want to make sure we continue to collaborate with people and the computers. And one way to do that now, especially with a lot of these chat features we have, is to give the role you want to that AI model. So in other words, letting the AI model know, hey, I want to be a collaborator with you, and I want to build, a following or a platform, whatever it is that your goal is, instead of having that AI build it for you, to be a collaborator and ask them to help you critically think through it. So, by setting up those questions, the computer or the AI will then ask you questions more like a coach. So, you don't have to pay all this money on life coaching when you have your AI collaborator as well that can kind of ping you to critically think through your work. Because these models are only as good as what we're putting into them. And we need more people and influence and critically thinking in our models. In terms of STEM overall, diversification is important. And I think that I'm so happy to see Salome on and our other team members, because you don't want to see the AI world get dominated in one way or the other. Inclusive efforts is, I think, everyone's opportunity, and I think that would be my hope, that we continue to be inclusive in all the work we do, even with AI the way that it is. I want to try and turn this over to our team a little early, because I know they have some great steps to put you through and let you ask questions and things like that for how this will go. If you need any materials or anything like that, you can use the chat. You can come off mute. You can ask questions. We want this to be as collaborative, as I said, as possible. We need that collaboration to critically think through these steps. So we have Salome Okan with us, and also Mr. Joseph J. And they're going to be leading us. Salome is a expert in transforming startups with the best innovative solutions, customer IT, excellence, digital growth. So you really don't want to miss this opportunity to ask her questions for your growth and learning how to do this. So we appreciate all of you here today. And I'm going to turn this great workshop over to Salome.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Karen, for that informative session. That was beautiful. Personally, I did the exercise myself, and I found out like a lot of things about myself just because of that. So thank you. So, like she had already said, my name is Salome Okon, and I am here. I'm from Nigeria. I studied computer engineering in the University of Uyo. And I'm just going to say a little bit about my career history and how I got to this point. Earlier on during the COVID-19, I think that was just before I did my industrial attachments. We were all locked up inside of the house, and I found a way to learn digital marketing and some other skills online, because I believe this was the moment where I opened up myself to opportunities in the digital space. There I learned digital marketing and support, and just like that, when we resumed school, there I did my industrial attachment at a firm called Technology Academy Global. I learned, that was where I obtained my CCNA certification. That's the Cisco Certified Network Associate. So I learned about computers and connections and how to connect to the internet or with themselves, within a company and outside. And there I got the opportunity to participate in the Global AI Challenge organized by Edequity. I got the opportunity to actually win the prize to further my career in cloud computing, where I did AWS Cloud Practitioner and some other things. There we go. It has been a long ride. Currently, I'm working here on site in Nigeria as an operations manager. So back in the day, I had the ability to work with an organization called OPAGEST, Organization for Promoting African Girls in Engineering, Science and Technology. And there, yes, I was also exposed to a lot, and how important it is for even women to participate in science and STEM education, and how much influence and power they could get just by involving themselves in such. And so this has also navigated my career. And today I'm just simply here to teach about WordPress management, or teach about how to create a website using WordPress in particular as a software as a service. It is just straightforward, and I don't believe I will be taking a lot of your time. But whether we like it or not, technology has made it possible for us to build a website in a very little amount of time. And then I'll start with ProFreehost. Just in case you probably want to talk or introduce yourself later on, just indicate it on the chat. So I'll just go further to talk about how we are gonna get our domain name, because that's the first thing you need to do while you are creating a website. So I'm just gonna explain the domain name like the street. It's an address. It's literally an IP address that is converted through domain name service, so it could navigate you straight up to the server. So here, so to get your domain name, we come to ProFreehost. Now, what is ProFreehost? It's a free web hosting platform, a place on the internet where your website files are stored, so people can access your website online. Like I said, it's a street, it's an address. I'm going to use a normal street as an example. So if you want to navigate to a place in the street, you need an address. And so your domain name or your IP address is literally saying okay, here I am present. So if you want to be present on the internet space, you need a domain name. And so that is why we come to Pro Free Host. And here we are going to, this is my account dashboard. I'm going to go ahead and create a domain name. There we go. We are going to create an account with Pro Free Host. So on this page, you're literally just gonna choose the domain name you want to be called. What do you want to be called? I would say let's just use STIG. Okay, let's just go with WordPress Learning.
So, Salome, when you're doing this, is there anything that they need to be aware of, like special characters or spaces? Like you want to be careful with when you're selecting your domain name?
Yes, definitely. The domain name doesn't come with spaces, so you just have to have that in mind. And just in case you do not do something right, I believe you're definitely not going to be able to create the domain name in the first place. So you're going to be corrected by the website itself when you check availability. So let's just go ahead and just, I think it's supposed to be small letters and not capital letters. So we have WordPress Learning. So now this is not actually a full domain. Let's say you have a house and then this is like a rented space in the apartment, because you see it's called a subdomain. That's actually what we are obtaining in order to build our website. So since the WordPress Learning, if it was like a custom domain where you just get your domain name or a public IP, it would have been a different case. You would not need to have .liveblog360.com or .unux.com. So let me check availability for that. Okay, that is not available. So I'll just have to use liveblog. So this is a subdomain. All right, so that is it. So now you have successfully, I wouldn't say gone live, but then your website is live. You have an address on the internet now. So people can locate you with this name. So there we go. We are just going to go with WordPress Learning. We're going to click manage. Close the ad. Okay, so this is just a page that tells you or gives you some basic information about your website. This is just the page that gives basic information about your website. And so you're gonna go over to the control panel. So what's the control panel? Okay, I approve. It's gonna notify me with emails. So what's the control panel? The control panel is simply like an engine room for your website. So here you can install the softwares that you are supposed to use, and you can manage your file, control your database. You can see there are different types of file managers here. Then we're gonna come down to the Softalicious apps in the Software Coolest app installer.
Is that the one that used to do that?
Okay, so this is Solutions Builder, an automatic software installation tool used in hosting control panels. So you can use it to install some applications, or should I say software as a service, like WordPress. So this is where we are going to install our WordPress website. So let's go ahead and do that. So there we go. This is where we are just going to build. We have seen our domain name here, and we are just going to give some basic information about our site, and then we'll head over to the dashboard. So this is not a blog. Okay, so we are going to go with WordPress Learning. And so now this description of the website is very important. The description of the website is very important because it's gonna inform people or categorize your website. So when people are looking for your website, they could easily see it. So now let's come to our admin username. I'm just going to go with admin, even though I will state it very obviously that you are not supposed to be using simple usernames and passwords, because you want to make sure that your site is safe. And it's not safe if everybody or most people that want to have access to it can. You don't want to imagine a time where you are there, like in your house or doing whatever you want to do, and people are affecting things to your website or changing some features on your website. So you want to use the password that is stronger than this, but I'm just using this one for the meantime. So we'll come over here and click install. Okay, it has been successfully installed. So we will return to the WordPress management. And then if we want to access our dashboard, we're going to come up here and we're going to log in to our WordPress dashboard or to our admin account. So here we are. So once you are here, you can check out how your website looks. I mean, this is just the beginning of everything before we go ahead with the thing. So you can check out how your website looks from here. I'm going to open it in the News app, so it's not going to distract what we are doing here. So we just go ahead. There we go. It's just WordPress Learning, blog, and hello world. So we don't have anything on our website, even though our website is live. So if somebody has our domain name at this point, they could see this page. Our website has gone live. We don't have anything on it. So we want to design our website. We want to make it look attractive. You know, when you are building a website, you're supposed to have in mind what you want to do with it. There are a lot of reasons why people build websites.
So,
they use it.
Salome, let me interrupt you there. I think that's a great segue just to see if our participants can access their mics now and they can introduce and tell us maybe what websites they're trying to build, or why they're interested in this class. So Mary or Emmanuel, can you try again on your microphone? I think we have it corrected. Just let us know if you can come off mute. If you can, just you can try your microphones or the chat option and let us know. Okay, I see Mary typing. Thank you so much.
Mary's typing.
Emmanuel, you can do the same. I see you're off. Oh, there you have Mary wants to learn WordPress to build a website for personal use. Exactly the person we would want in this course. So.
Okay, so that's beautiful, Mary. Thank you so much for introducing yourself. You could build a website for personal use. Definitely, maybe to create a portfolio website, like what I'm currently using it to do. So thank you so much for that, for telling us about yourself and what you will want to use WordPress websites to. Please, any other person, feel free to just drop your information here on the chat. So I think I'm just going to get back to it. Thank you. So like I said, now that we are here, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about WordPress. Literally, it's just the content management system that enables you to create and manage a business to create and manage a website without knowing how to code. So you don't need to know how to code to use, especially, should I say, most of the features on WordPress. You do not, there might be some issues in the future where we have bug fixes or code snippets. That's where coding comes in, but these are very, very in very, very little scenarios where these issues come up. So in the meantime, WordPress is generally a way of you not having to code, but having a website up and ready for people to see. So I'm just gonna show you again just how the WordPress
we
website
have Emmanuel, I think now. Are you able to speak, Emmanuel? I see you're off mute. Can you tell us what brought you to this workshop for websites?
Yeah, so from my profile, like you rightly said, I'm Emmanuel Philip by name. And then because of how fast technology is growing, I think we just have to dive back into AI. My take on it is I just want to be a WordPress developer, or even more, learn WordPress itself to the core, and then be good with AIs and technology at large. So I got the invite, and I think this is the right avenue to start from. That's why I'm here.
Excellent. Welcome. Thank you so much. So if you need us to repeat anything, because I know you can't access the chat, so just let us know, and Salome can answer.
Thank you
questions.
so much.
I've been following all the while, so if need be for questions, definitely I'll ask.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for that. Our future world best developer. That's nice, because I believe everything starts with a dream, and then we definitely are gonna get there. So now let's head over to our WordPress dashboard. So here you can see everything is written out. I think it's should I say it's easy to use from here. Not that easy, but it is easy to use from here. Everything is written out in plain English. You have a post, you have your media in case you want to upload pictures, you have your comments. And so we are going to come down to appearance, because you could see how our WordPress website looks. It didn't look so attractive. And then whoever is visiting your website has to either be converted or whatever thing you want a person to do on the website. So definitely we want to make it attractive to our users or to our visitors. And so this is where the theme comes in. So this is where our themes come in. Here, these themes are already customized themes. So WordPress theme is a collection of design files that control how your website looks and feels. So these are design files, or a collection of them that if you are to, they are just like, they are not, but they are just like templates. So if you are to open them, or if you are to use them for your website, then the files inside are going to determine, should I say, they are already pre-designed for you. But then we have a theme in mind. It's called Astra. So we are going to look for Astra and install it. I think it's just right here. There we go. So we're gonna install the Astra. So Astra is simply a lightweight, customizable WordPress theme designed for flexibility and speed. So I'm sure a lot of the reasons why people use it, or if I myself would prefer to use it, is because it's faster and it's flexible. You could change so many features on it. So just in case you don't want it, you don't need to use code snippets or blocks or anything. You just go ahead, and it's flexible enough to do as much as you want to do with it. So now that we have our theme, our Astra theme installed, we are going to start building our websites. As you can see, the website is still empty. So let's activate it. Oh, thank you so much, Godwin. I'm going to get to that right now. So Godwin says, my name is Godwin and I'm following up the lectures. I'm interested in learning WordPress and I appreciate the good work. Thank you so much, Godwin, for that. But definitely, we also appreciate your presence here. We believe that it's not just going to be a video where you do not learn anything. You're definitely going to learn something and put it to good use. Thank you so much, Godwin. So here you could skip all this information. You could skip all this information, and I'm just going to show you. Okay. So we can see after installing the themes, and we come back to our WordPress website, we see there are some changes that are made, because, should I say, there's a theme that has gotten hold of your website now. And then here we go with build with templates. Now we don't want to use AI for this yet, but we're going to start with the basics and we're going to build with templates. We're going to go with Elementor. And there we go. So we have our templates. Most of them are free templates, but there are actually some premium templates. We are going to use of course, we're going to use the free templates. And I'm just going to go with that. Remember, you don't have to use the templates I'm using. You could choose anyone depending on what exactly your website is for. So this particular template is actually a portfolio. I know that most of you might want to create a portfolio. It's just simple to use. You could upload your logo here. You could change your font. It has a different combination of fonts. You could change your I think I like this green. You could change your color palette. So they are already, I think they're already pre-designed by designers. So it's actually a lot, and it makes a lot of sense. It's so beautiful. So Here we have some integrations that one might want to go ahead and attach to their websites, but we don't need any of this. But for example, right now I'm building a portfolio website, and then you need visibility. Okay, so you need visibility, and so definitely we're gonna go with search engine optimization, so people could see your website fast enough. And you don't want to be typing, maybe if you don't have the domain name, if they don't have the domain name, they should be able to type your name and they should see your portfolio. But you don't want a situation where before you see someone sees your portfolio, it's like on the third or the fourth page of the Google. So now you're just gonna fill in your name here. I'm gonna go with Joseph, and then submit and build your site. Okay, so Mr. Joseph Jerry is asking if WordPress is free. I would say most of WordPress is free. Yes, WordPress is free to use. Like I said, I haven't imputed any of my credit cards in any of these services. It's free to use. Oh yay, our website is complete. So at first, should I say WordPress is free to use. Most of the features and most of the plugins are free to use on WordPress. But then there are some premium, like you could see there was a premium template options of some plugins with premium version. That is where you're going to need to make some payments. But in the meantime, WordPress is free. And maybe if you have a custom domain, you might need to pay for it. But like I said, Profihost is also free to get a subdomain, and it's unlimited. So now we're gonna visit the website again and refresh to see exactly how our website looks like. There we go. So now we have come to the end of the class. I'm gonna ask if there are any questions, because for the rest of the things you could in future classes, we're definitely gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about how to use the plugins, post, and some other things. But in the meantime, this is where we are going to end for today. And I would like to ask if you have any questions or anything. So, is it always this fast when building a website with WordPress? No, it's not always this fast, but I would say in most of the cases, it is fast. So you remember that when I had finished with installing the WordPress and I went into my dashboard, I installed Astra as a theme. And so when I was picking a template, some people choose to build their websites from scratch. Some people don't even use a flexible theme like that. So some people choose to build, and that takes a whole lot of time, even though it is still more like a click or drag and drop situation. It still takes time. So what I did that made it really fast was that I used a template and already created website templates where you could just change your content. You could upload your pictures there. You could change the text to what you want it to be. So that was why it was that fast, Godwin. Thank you so much for asking. Any other questions?
So I know that you're not able to cover everything in this workshop, but just I saw that you had clicked like the SEO and was it a security thing too with the SEO? Or was that just making it visible? I'm trying to remember that what it was called when you clicked on that in WordPress.
It was SEO and visibility.
Visibility. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it was. Mostly, as the name implies, your website is going to be live. So if somebody has your particular domain name, you could just put it on Chrome or whatever browser you're using, your URL, and then they could access your website. So it's still visible, but search engine optimization, it's a way for people to identify it fast without needing, without needing your domain name exactly. So just in case somebody says, oh, I have a portfolio, you could check it out, and then somebody types in your name, they would see your website as one of the links on either the first or second page on Google. Or you don't if you do not optimize your website using search engine, people wouldn't see it that fast. If they don't have your URL, then they cannot find it out. Thank God for AI right now. AI would have found you. So if you use the AI mode and ask for the link to the portfolio, that is also a fast method. But then search engine is a way to show you exactly how to make your website visible faster to an audience.
So you have a question from Mary in the chat too.
Okay. When adding a domain to the website, is there need to put a records, or it adds the records automatically? When adding, Joseph, please, can you take over the question? It actually does it automatically, but then I would like Joseph. Okay, you're just gonna respond on the chat. Okay, yes. So if you were there at the beginning, you would see that we didn't need to put any error codes. Most of that is usually is done on, should I say, hosting platforms like GoDaddy and stuff like that. But here it was at first not even a custom domain, it was a subdomain. So I believe all of that is already dealt with, and so we just had to go ahead with choosing a name that was favorable to the system. All right. Is that all? Okay, thank you so much, Mary. I'm just gonna hand it over to Dr. Freddie Asino.
We are closing. Dr. Karen, do you have anything to say before we close?
Sure, thank you. I just want to say, thanks to the participants today, because, we really want to build workshops that are most helpful to you. So just appreciate your engagement with us and letting us know your questions and what you're trying to build the website for. And that helps us build these workshops kind of tailored more to your needs. So I believe we want to start having these much more frequently, so we can continue to help people, navigate this journey. So just continue doing good work and critically think as humans can do. Continue to do that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Karen, for that.
And I also want to bring gratitude to the facilitators and all who participated in the program. This is not an easy feat. It takes a lot of dedication for people to sacrifice their Saturday mornings to come in here and do this. And so I appreciate it very much. We will let you know when the next edition of this program will be coming on. We plan to do multiple series so that everybody will be at least familiar with how to do their own websites and how to open this market up to people. I am one of those people that was scared of websites because everybody talks about coding. And to me, anything that didn't say 1 to 1, 1 plus 1 is 2 was a difficult task for me to handle. This is very easy for us to all understand, and I appreciate it very much. And thank you very much. Until we meet again. Thank you.